Hello, it's Erin, and I am going to share with you my 2025 lineup, or my Techo Kaigi, the planners and journals that I'm going to be using for the year 2025. And I'm sure that there will be additional ones thrown in, but these are like the main things that I'm starting out with, and I'm very excited about it. I have talked about this with my patrons maybe about a month ago, but I think there have been some, I know there's been an addition, maybe some slight changes, and I think it's going to be good. So I'm going to jump right into it. I might get interrupted. There's a chance I'll get interrupted. I'll just leave it at that. And that's okay. We'll just have to pick up where we left off if I do. Okay, so I'm pulling these apart because this is my planning system, this system right here. And so this is a new edition. I'll talk about that in a second. But I have my Hobonichi weeks, and I've begun to set this up. I haven't done a whole lot in it, but I've begun to get into it. This is gonna be my just like regular like life planner. So the way that I use this, and actually I just did a video about it. It should have been up about a week ago. I put everything in here, just little notes of things that happen throughout my day, things that I get done, appointments, birthdays, all that kind of stuff. Sometimes meal planning, like very light meal planning, and sometimes after the fact, like just writing down what we had for dinner, that sort of thing. I had intended on using this planner in conjunction with my plotter as like the only planners I was going to use next year. And I have been kind of trying out that system for at least a month, and it was not going well. I mean, it was not terrible, but there's just not enough space in here for all my work tasks. And that's why in the past I've done like daily lists in like a bullet journal format, like just like a daily page somewhere, or a daily, what's it called? Daily log or something like that. I went through that whole like, question again. What do I need? I'm always trying to like downsize, and then I end up downsizing maybe too much, and then I have to expand, and then sometimes I expand too much. So I'm trying to get that balance right of like having just the right amount, not too much, not too little. And it's tough. Let me know if you have the same problem, because I feel like this is like what I've been doing for years, is like too many planners. And then it's typically ends up being too many planners because you can always buy more planners, right? And so like even later in the year, I might add something on, and I rarely stay with too little for too long because they're just too available. So this is, let's see, where do I want to go next? So, well, let me tell you what the plotter is for. So I bought this earlier in the year, knowing that I would want to use it for next year and like every year going forward. I knew that I needed a ring bound system, but I'm not a ring bound type of girl. I don't want to have to write in them a whole lot. I don't want to have like the big thick ones that you can cram all kinds of stuff into. That looks really fun, but I know for me that my brain will not handle that well, and I'll get overwhelmed and I won't be able to find anything. So I knew that the plotter, being that it's so thin and small, would kind of keep me accountable to the types of things that I could put in here. You can't put in too much. So what I have named it is my North Star Planner. And what that means to me is that it's kind of the big, like my big, like long-term goals, but yearly goals, where I'm heading, my trajectory. Like this is supposed to keep me on track. I tend to get lost in the day-to-day stuff. Like I write down lists and lists of things to do, and I do them or I don't do them. And I stay focused on that daily list. And I lose the big picture very easily. And it's easy to veer off and take on new projects and have new goals and new ideas. I always have new ideas. So it's very easy for me to come up with a whole new plan and totally forget about the original plan. Now, the plan that I've been working toward has been like really worked over and like chiseled down to what I think is an excellent plan. There's like there's a wiggle room, and there's like, you know, room for unexpected things, but I know what I want. I know what I'm headed for. Like I know that. And so I don't want to have to redo that every, you know, quarter or year or whatever. So that's what this is for. I have it broken down into sections. This little folder here is about my newsletter. So I'll be keeping track of not detailed stuff, but more the overarching picture, like just the big picture of the newsletter. This is also likewise, this is about marketing, which is basically anything else that I do online. So social media and YouTube and blog posts and all that kind of stuff. And it's also like the big picture, maybe some lists, maybe some, not trackers so much as daily trackers, but like some, just have I done this? Can I check this off? Sort of thing. Bigger tasks will stay in there. And I put those two in the front because I really need to focus on these two things this year, and they definitely go together. But I want to make sure I remember them. Also, because the plotter's rings are so small, I find if I put these bigger, like chunkier things in the front, the pages, they turn like quite easily, and the pages will move freely for the rest of the time because there's more room. I don't know if that makes sense, but if I put these in the back, then the front pages get kind of squished. So just, you know, just trying to figure out how things work. I have monthlies from Plotter in here, and these are gonna be probably more of like a pre-planning. Is that a thing? I've heard people say that there's no such thing because all planning is like pre-planning, but like the rough draft version of my year and like when things should happen. And then in my work planner, I'll get more detailed about when exactly those things happen. But I would like to use like highlighters and stickers and just sort of lay out the plan, the big plan. I'm like trying to tell you enough without like going into way too much detail. It's kind of hard to do. So back here, I'm not going to show you like everything, but there's just like a section for my goals, my some of my accomplishments from the year, just like normal stuff. And then back here it gets more into like lists of things. This is like stuff that I am working on currently. This blue page I maybe made about, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and it's one that I'll work through, I'll tear it out, and I'll make another one. It's sort of like, it's not timed. Some of these things will take longer. Some of them are like things I can get done in a week or a month, but it's just stuff that I want to keep front of mind. It's like a to-do list that's, I don't know. This is home stuff. There is some home stuff mixed in here too, and some financial stuff that's actually, as of right now, both business and home. I might want to separate them in the future, but right now it's not that complicated. So, and then I have some dots and that thing, and so that's what that is. I think that for next year, I'm going to add some trackers. Trackers is not the right word. Just some like, almost like spreadsheet type things, but obviously in like written form where I can keep track of certain things to make sure that I'm on track, like to make sure that I'm headed in the right direction. So like if YouTube is a goal, then, you know, maybe I'll keep track of, I mean, I am elsewhere, but I might need more specifics about things like subscriber count and what I'm doing to make those goals happen. Does that make sense? I just feel like there's so much to talk about. Yeah, so this planner, okay, so let me just go ahead and talk about the take a note. I'm gonna leave, this one is the new one. I haven't really touched it yet. It's a beautiful green. There's my ice machine. If you know, you know. Okay, so I'll show you what I've been doing. So I had a take a note planner in 2022. I covered up the date. That I gave up on. And I think that's because I had too many planners, and I was using also for work, I was using a Hobonichi Day Free, and I was making a lot of lists in the pages in the back, like just lists of things I needed to do. And that year was very different for me. There were a lot of other things happening. I had my daughter at home with me. She was a toddler. And I didn't schedule a lot. And this is the key. This take a note planner, they even call it a schedule planner. And I wasn't scheduling much. I would just sort of get things done when I could get them done. And I get discouraged if I write a lot of to-dos down on a day and I don't get them done. Not all of them are going to get done, but if we're talking about day after day after day where I just haven't been able to get to it, then it's like I just sort of give up on it, almost like it's not going to happen. It's very discouraging for me. That's why I didn't make a lot of like scheduled tasks. I would just make lists and work through the lists. These days, I am scheduling more because I actually need to get these things done on certain days. And there are consequences if I don't get it done, even if they're in my own head or in my finances, for instance, they still have consequences. And so I'm more apt to get things done. I also have some more time right now. So that's why this is working for me. I redated a bunch of things. And I mean, this was blank towards the end of the planner. So I just redated everything. And so this one is gonna be like a lot of, let's see, task scheduling, like just, you know, lists of things to do and notes on things that I'm thinking about, when things should happen. The monthly is largely like marketing, sort of like things I need to get out into the world, things that, you know, need to be scheduled. So I actually am really enjoying this. I have decided to cover up the back, not the back, but like the Saturday, Sunday are on this page here. So the take a note is in two, like it has a weekly spread. The weeks are on two spreads. Does that make sense? So this is Monday through Wednesday, Thursday through Sunday, Saturday and Sunday are on this page. So I've just been whiting them out and covering it up and using this as a notes page, because even if I work on the weekend, it's not scheduled. It's not like, it's like catch up, or I just want to do something. So this is just a notes page, basically, which is great because I think that's what Take a Note is kind of missing, is any sort of space to write down things that are not on the day. But you can also do this sort of thing where you just like, just mark off a section. This is just like weekly tasks I want to do. So, I mean, there are a very few notes pages in the back, but just a few. And in 2022, this planner did not have a, like, it had this, but then it went straight into months. It didn't have like a yearly tracker, like a, you know, the vertical kind, but now it does. So this is this year's, and it has the same kind of this sort of thing. And then it goes into this, which is great because this is what I typically use to track my stats. And so I'm happy to have that. That's really like useful to me. So that's that. That's the work planner. I'm excited about it. I think it's gonna be really good so far. I've been using it for about 2 weeks and it has been pretty helpful, I think. So back to the weeks. This is gonna be more of just like everything, life, big things around the house, notes. It's not a very big space. So, you know, I can fill it up by just writing a few things about the day and keeping some lists like home projects, big work projects. I like to just keep an overview of like kind of what's going on in the week as far as like life in general. So work and home, everything kind of gets thrown in here, and it's pretty and I like it and I can decorate it. You know, it's small and it always looks nice, I feel like. So that's my planning system. That's it for planning, and I think it's good. I feel like it's the right amount. Like it feels really good. Okay, my journaling system. Okay, so some of this might be familiar because most of this is not new. This is my morning pages journal, which I have been sort of faithfully using it as just a morning pages journal. But next year, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to combine it with, I've been using this notebook as just sort of an everything notebook, and I love it. It's Leuchtterm 1917. I just use it for anything. A lot of work notes, a lot of project notes, just things I come across. It's like an anything, anytime notebook that I just write things down on. And I love it. I love the paper. I love using fountain pens in it. And it's just like a really good notebook. And this in here, I have a Hobonichi just notebook. Let me see if I can pull it out with the cats. I keep it tucked in there. I mean, it's so cute, but like I keep it tucked in so that it's not so, I don't know, wobbly when I write in it, if that makes sense. But this notebook will also fit in here. So what I think I'm gonna do, this notebook is getting close to finished, and this notebook can possibly be finished by the end of the year. So what I think I'm gonna do is when I finish with both of these notebooks, I'm just gonna go to another one of these and use it for everything, morning pages and any kind of daily notes, anything, just a notebook. And I think it's gonna work well. It still feels nice in here, but of course I don't have to keep it in the cover if I don't want to, but yeah, I think that's, like I said, I am trying to downsize. I think it'll help my brain to just not have so many different books to write in. Sometimes I get confused about where I'm supposed to be in the moment, like what book I'm supposed to be in. So I think combining these two might be a smart move. I had something like this in, I think like 2021. Yeah, 2020, 2021, in that era when my kids were super tiny and we were stuck at home a lot. I had a book like one of these where I just wrote in it all day long. I would just pick it up and write in it whenever I had a moment, because I couldn't do true morning pages at that time. So I just made them all day pages. That was a piece of ice. They were just all day pages, and I had a lot of fun with it, just like writing anything down. And I think that's kind of what we're going back to. No fuss, just writing stuff down. I'm gonna go back to more like kind of work related stuff and go into this journal. This Black TN Traveler's Company, and I've had this set up like this for a little while. I've changed it out a little bit, but it's mostly the same. In it I have 2 inserts, yeah, plus the file folder, craft folder, and this plastic folder. But I have this Baum-Kuchen Jiyu weekly insert, which I think is really beautiful, and I did try to use it as my main planner last year for a while, and it was great. But I had the same problem basically I have with the Hobonichi weeks, which is just I found myself limiting myself on how much I could write down because it's a limited space, and that's why I ended up moving into something different. But instead I just started using it as a journal. Like, so here I was planning, but then I started using it as a journal, and it's very like loosey-goosey, just kind of however I feel. I stick some things down, not a ton of writing, mostly imagery and notes and just kind of things I'm thinking about, and you know, got like stuff from orders, and then that's it so far. And there's my folder. It's just got normal folder stuff in it, some stickers and underlay thing. And then this is not really, it hasn't been used yet. It's supposed to be like a commonplace book specifically for things that have to do with my newsletter, which is just beginning. Like, I'm just starting it, so that's why there's not a whole lot in here. I mean, there's nothing in here, but I did write something in here and then tore it out because I didn't like the way it looked. And when I start a notebook and it doesn't look good in the, like later on, it doesn't matter, but the first page, you know, I just have to tear it out because we just can't have that. So I'll let you know how this one goes. The thing is, I think it's the size that's throwing me off, and I'm not sure. Well, I'm not sure. We'll see. But that's what's in here so far, and it's a close companion of mine. Like this journal, even if I'm not like actively using it or like regularly using it daily, I still want to carry it around with me because it is sort of like I mean, you can see how much of myself I've put into it, and it feels like, it's part of me. I don't know. I have 2 more things I want to talk to you about. I keep turning this over, I think because the zipper being up here is throwing me off for some reason, even though that's where it's supposed to be. If you've been around, you've seen this. It had my personal space journal in it, and I moved that out and moved in a sterling ink notebook that I already had. In fact, I might have bought this like 2 years ago. I don't know. It's just a plain notebook. I think it's like the maybe the compact size. It's not the real big fat one. And what I thought I might do in here is, if you've seen my personal space journal, I moved out of that one, and I was kind of missing it. I was kind of missing the opportunity to just decorate pages because I like to, and tip things in, use vellums, I don't know, just all that kind of stuff. So I thought that I would give myself the opportunity to do that sort of thing in here. But because it's not dated, there's no pressure for me to get it, you know, done within the year. There's not really any pressure at all. I can just play in it. So this is more, I guess just like a playtime journal, just like still a personal space journal, just for me, just whatever I want to put in there. It might end up being like a whole lot of book lists, just like the personal space journal was basically like a fancy reading journal. But we'll see. I mean, this one is, I haven't set it up or anything, so we don't know what's going to happen with that one. I think it's going to be good. And then the last thing I have to show you. Okay, so this is going to be my main memory keeping journal. This is one along with my planners, which planners are usually daily, but this is one that I really want to be keeping up with every day. And this is my new 5-year journal. I've never had one. Hobonichi A6 5-year journal. I have it in Chic Sparrow A6, leather traveler's notebook. I took out the strings and put in some ribbon, and I'm not done with this. This is all, I gotta work on this some more. But I plan on making it really special. I feel like this is somewhere where I want to be every day. I like that it's not a lot of space, but it's enough space. And I want to keep track of everything that's happening in my family and with my kids, and just, big things in my business or in I don't know, everything, but just in a tiny little format, because that's what works for me. I'm not a big memory keeper as far as printing out photos, and I've never been a scrapbooker. I've never been able to keep up with that sort of thing, but this feels very doable and also really special, and I'd like to see it grow over time. So this is maybe one of the most important things in my lineup. It might be in some ways the most important thing. So this was my word of the year for the year, passage. It very well could still be my word of the year for next year. I don't know. But I might leave it on there for now. We'll see. But that's why that's on there. Okay, I think I covered everything. I know there are some other things I left out that are just not daily sort of things, but I feel like I covered all the important things. And I think it's gonna be good. I feel like it's not too much. I feel like it's just the right amount, and I'm excited about everything, and I think it looks pretty together too. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you're interested in seeing any of these moving forward. Like, I have some setups I need to do, and I'm sure I'll be talking you through more of this stuff in the future. I got lots of things to say about this kind of stuff. So I hope you're well. Let me know what your lineup is in the comments, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye.